Hi, I'm Shivam,
Hi, I'm Izzy,
and this is PhoenixChat.
where one of us can read.
Which one?
You find out.
Hi, and welcome back to PhoenixChat. As a reminder, as always, this is part 2 of the episode released a little bit earlier this week. So, highly recommend you check out the part 1 that comes out with this episode in order to understand the context of everything we're going to be talking about. But getting right into it, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about in this episode was we had a really special moment with Hops's backstory where I set up a couple of scenes and I set up all these details and stuff like that, and you guys kind of went ahead along and played in that space, and there was just this slow dawning realization of oh fuck, Hops's parents were killed by the Rock. And I think it was this really special moment because I don't think at any point in time none of us very specifically said that that was true, but there was a point where all of us knew it was true without specifically saying it. Yeah, I think it's the rule of show don't tell. That becomes very very good and useful to sort of have in a sort of campaign. So I guess from a player's perspective though, how do you make sure to give hints at your backstory and have those plot hooks and stuff like that, without giving fully away or saying directly here's a plot dump of my backstory?
I'm just gonna use the example that I have been using for her. That's not, spoilies are huge or anything. So, how she's afraid of water. She doesn't come out and say it blatantly, all the time, oh yeah, I'm afraid of water. You know how Katara always talks about how her mom's dead, every 5 seconds? So you know her mom is dead. I hate that. No, so it's only brought up when she absolutely has to, say something. So, when they were planning at Soliana, oh, we found out where the Oracle is, it's in, and the library is, it's underwater. She showed, some stiffening up, her ears went flat on her head, you see her hands ball into fists, just subtle things like that, people will be kind of sus, hey, what's going on, why are you acting weird? She's like, don't fucking worry about it. Well, now in this episode, it really showed, when she absolutely had to go into the water, she was scared, and, I think she explains it later on, in a couple other episodes, why she's afraid of water to the rest of the group, but, it just, subtle things like that, you can see this character scared of something, or you can see this character light up when this something is mentioned, just, stuff like that, I guess, is the best way I can think of it, yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely ends up being a good sort of way to do it. And of course, as a DM, making sure to enable those sorts of scenes and stuff like that, where the characters need to kind of confront those things from their backstory. It definitely helps just set up the very easy scene and watch as your players kind of run with it.
Yeah.
And if you're the other player, by the way, in this scenario, and you hear someone talking about the fist clenching or something like that, they look angry or something like that, obviously very easy role-playing thing to do. It's just what's up with your character, what's going on sort of thing, to let them play in that space proper.
Yeah, it makes a very easy invitation for characters to interact too, especially because we our group of characters, we have traveled together for almost a year in game time now. Maybe a little bit more than that, I can't remember. But, so they've gotten close to one another. So to have Juliet, who is this, outspoken, fearless-looking drunk lady, be scared of something, that makes everybody oh, hey, what is happening? Or, along the lines of Hops being this happy-go-lucky, Frog Lady being scared. Hey, what is happening? Why are you scared? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So next thing I definitely want to talk about was, I really like the moment with Uriel, because like I wanted to one, I like to like use history checks and stuff like that to like it just give you more of like context of like here's some lore tidbits that your characters would know and stuff like that, and you know, like and because it gets you guys like invested a little bit more of like I think like your characters understand like, well, not just like who this character was historically, but like with good history checks, maybe they understand like a couple more tidbits and stuff like that. So for Julia, for example, like you kind of I gave you like the general details of like Uriel was a famous hero, and you like remember her as like being this huge like member of Canis Libertas, and with like the good history check, you also found out like those tiny little details that were like, oh yeah, like she might have had like a bit of like a thing with Cass and stuff like that, and two are very sweet in each other. You know, just this this quiet sort of thing that gives you a little bit more of like adds a little depth to the character and gives you a little more of like, oh, that's how this character like really was. And on top of that too, like it also helps with these fights, because like it gives you that tidbit of lore of like, oh, she's a really, really strong fighter, so we should definitely like be wary of that. And then like the lore detail too of like her eyesight was cursed. We definitely need to make sure to like look away from her gaze in order to like actually win this one.
Didn't I almost forget to say that out loud too?
You almost forgot to.
I was like, oh,
almost
fuck!
Immediately. Yeah, no, because I told you like her eyesight's cursed, and I gave you like the entire lore dump, and then I'm like, okay, what do you guys do? And then like, wait, hold on, her eyesight's cursed. And then you finally remembered like right before. I have to ask you guys to make some con saves.
No, I remembered.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a lot more interesting because like, I feel like out of all the fights like in that dungeon, Uriel is probably one of the most memorable, maybe next to the Siren. Just because like, yeah, you remember her as a character, not just as the monster.
Right.
You know, I guess like as a player, just a little bit like what do you kind of I am blanking.
I believe in you.
Yeah, just give me like a second here. Let's put a second of silence in here to make sure I edit this out. But yeah, so I guess like as a player, like having those little bits of extra like lore and stuff like that, like do you have like any sort of like method you use to like make sure to kind of like role play off of that and like bounce off of it?
Basically what I do, like, especially with this Uriel case, because, like, you didn't tell me about this until, like, during the scene, so I had absolutely no, like, me, Izzy, had no fucking idea who this person was, but Juliet obviously would know, so I, just for my sake, just to understand it better, and, like, to keep it, like, this is important to some backstory, not particularly mine, but a backstory, it's important, I just connect it to NPCs that I am close with. So the Cass thing, I knew her because of Cass. Because Cass, this was important to Cass. This lady was important to Cass. Because I really doubt Juliet would go out of her way to learn the history of Canis Libertas. Because that's not who she is. That's not what she did when she was in the Kitsune village. So, why would this be important to Cass? Oh, because Cass had a crush on her, and she was really, really cool as a fighter. That would be a reason why she would remember, just to tease Cass about it, because that's just who she is. So, I just take tidbits and pieces like that, and I connect it. Okay, why is this relevant? Why should I remember this? Why is it relevant to this NPC, or why is it relevant to, like, this magical item, or something like that? That's what I do.
Yeah. And I guess actually more on that is that's actually a very good note, is that I actually didn't mention any of that to you. And you're very good about, like, you know, because I had not mentioned this character to you, Izzy, at all, but, like, as soon as I started explaining, you definitely knew how to play in the space of, like, Juliet understands this character a little bit, and, like, Juliet's seen this character before, you know, like, it's sparsely, but she's seen her, like, around, for a couple of years in her past. So I guess with that, like, you know, especially because, like, I was throwing at you from, like, out of the blue, how do you adapt to that, and especially, like, adapt to that sort of relationship of, like, trying to figure out a character or a detail or something like that kind of just gets, like, added in the moment?
So, I guess it would be me thinking how Juliet would react. So, say you bring up this character to me. How is my relationship with this character? Do I know them personally? Have I met them more than twice before? Are they a good guy or are they a bad guy? Are they, like, rich and pompous that's how I know them because they're, like, shitty? Or are they actually a good guy where I'm, like, very admirable of them? So, I always think good or bad. Are they good to me? Are they bad to me? And then that is where I decide from there, and that's how I act from there. So if, say, Uriel was, like, a fucking mega bitch, I would not have given her a Viking funeral. I would have been like, well, she's dead. Fuck you.
Kick her corpse down the stairs.
But because she was important to Cass and she was a good guy, for my guild specifically, I was like, okay, I have to take on this role because I am from the same guild as her. This is disrespectful if I didn't do that. And that's how I figured it from there. So that's, like, pretty much with any of the characters that you throw at me. Like, fucking Toadbert, for example. He was not necessarily a bad guy, but I know we were on bad terms. So I kept trying to make him a good guy on my terms.
Oh, man.
And then another example, basically the witch a long time ago, with the chicken leg house. Basically, Baba Yaga, she was a bad guy. I made that a bad guy. I understood why it's a bad guy. I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of it, too, ends up just being, like, just kind of the ebb and flow of, like, roleplay is that, like, it just ends up being this back and forth process of, like, I have some traits for Yurio and stuff like that. It's like, you know, she's a hero, and, like, maybe, like, she had, like, a thing with, like, Cass and stuff like that. And then you kind of, like, passed it back, and then, like, you kind of added some details and stuff like that about, like, yeah, no, she was, like, a person that people, like, really looked up to, and, like, you know, she was always, like, friendly and charismatic and stuff like that. And ended up just kind of being, like, this back and forth push of, like, just adding small details until we have, like, a full character. And I think that's probably the most interesting part about this is, like, a lot of the major NPCs, like, for example, Cass, like, I offered you details, you handed me back details, and then we just kind of, like, pushed and pulled backwards until, like, we got this fully fleshed out character.
I would also like to point out, I am also a DM and very creative when it comes to this stuff, so, like, if you expect this from all of your players, please don't, because sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they literally have no idea. They're like, I don't know who this person would be. Like, I don't have any ideas. Like, I was just thinking of what my character would do. So, sometimes it's not as easy as such, and, like, what's the word? Oh my gosh. It's not a bad idea to go onto the internet and, like, look up some, like, references to different people that you want it to kind of turn out to be. I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of the hardest things to probably role-playing, but it's very rewarding when you're able to figure out that skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so next thing I wanted to get to, Juliet and the whole thing with the water and the mind control. Oh, man. Yeah, so, it's one of those scenarios where, like, a monster had an interesting thing in their stat block, and I fucking love the abilities that's, like, this is not necessarily the most optimal solution in battle, but, like, what is a weird role-playing thing they would use this for? Like, what is a weird thing is that they would kind of... And this creature had an ability to basically, like, yeah, change people's memories on if they failed certain saves. And so I'm like, what is a memory that this mysterious voice would change? And so I thought like, maybe like it would change one of the weaknesses and stuff like that to be like a strength all of a sudden.
Can I intercept real fast?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Stuff like this helps your GM so much to give your characters weaknesses, so stuff like this will happen for your character. Like,
oh yeah.
Like if you want the limelight every once in a while, like because everybody wants like a little spot for their character, you know, give them a weakness for their GMs to exploit. I have so many for Juliet. We could literally kill Juliet so easy.
And we have. Yeah, no. Exploitable weaknesses make good characters.
Like, don't make Mary Sue, Gary Sue, whatever. Like, oh, they're the best at everything. I'm like, are they though? Are they?
Yeah, no, it's definitely more enjoyable when you have exploitable weaknesses. So that, like, when you do have your moments of strength, then like, it feels like you've earned it instead of just like it being just like handed to you. And then the fear of water. Basically, no, she had the fear of water. The mysterious voice thought that as a weakness, and so decided like, what if we just completely change this to a strength? So all of a sudden, Juliet now just like does not fear water in any way, shape, or form. And as far as Juliet knew in the moment, she's always loved like swimming and being in water. And basically, I told Izzy like this character. I told Izzy like this detail and secret that like,
you sprung this up on me like randomly too. Like I had no idea about any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, no, it was such like this odd little like this shift that unfortunately just went unnoticed by the party because like they just had a ton more to deal with and so little time to deal with things.
Yeah.
But eventually you guys got to properly like talk about it. Mm-hmm. I actually want to give you a little bit of a stage though, if you want to talk a little about like what Juliet's fear of water is from though.
So, okay, basically, Juliet has not had a very forgiving childhood. She has grown up as a princess of this hidden Kitsune village. Her mom is the queen of this village. It's a matriarchy. And she was, expected to learn all of the ropes of, like, royalty and to be the perfect child. And, when you're a kid, you're not. You're not going to be. Like, you have a sense of curiosity. You have a sense of, like, I want to, go play in the mud for shits and giggles, that kind of thing. And Juliet was a fucking kid. And because of that, her mom absolutely hated her. And, I mean, there's other things why she hated her, but, like, potentially stealing the crown, that stuff. So basically her mom made her life a living hell, would actually just straight up torture her kid, and one of them being basically waterboarding to quote-unquote teach her child to swim, threw Juliet into the deep end of like a pool or something, and then watched her like almost die. So that is why Juliet is so afraid of water, is because of that, and that fear still in the back of her head, like my mom is like going to control my life. Like that, it's not so much the water, like yeah, she almost died in that, but it's more so the root of why she had to go through that. So that's why she's afraid of water. Have some sad trauma backstory.
Yeah, no, it was real fucked up. But yeah, no, and so all of a sudden that changed to you're anytime you need to hide from your mother, you could go in the water, or like you have like very fond memories of like splashing around with your father in like the ponds.
Dude, when you said that to me, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no. And now like this weakness of yours is suddenly just like weirdly changed. And it's definitely one of those things that I kind of set up as like to be a reveal for later. So we'll end up touching more on that, I think, in some later episodes, as we finally reveal like the voice and how you end up finally fixing this. But I think it was definitely interesting because like I let this kind of linger actually for like a couple episodes. Like I had an idea in mind for how things would be fixed, but one, I also entertained the idea of like, if you didn't want to get this fixed, I suppose that you could just like let this happen, or two, you would need to go through some kind of like a process in order to do so, and that would make things harder for you in the long run because eventually there is a point where you need to be on a boat for an extended period of time, and that's not great. So yeah, it was just like this this setup for like really addressing this flaw, because at some point in time like you were going to have to fully address like one, the idea of like what makes you so afraid of water with the party, and two, which I found more interesting, is when I talked to you about this, you basically told me, Juliet would not accept this as a reasonable way to cure her fear of water if she found out that her memories were changed. If you want to explain that, which I think is really interesting.
I mean, Juliet is a very hard, like, headstrong person. Like, she is a very stubborn lady. For her to, like, have her memories be changed and that fear to suddenly go away, that's like, for her, that's like a cheap way out. She's like, that she learns nothing from that, she gains nothing from that. She's like, that's bullshit, that just makes me sound weak. If I'm gonna get over this fear, I'm gonna do it myself and not from some stupid memory change, basically.
Hell yeah.
We stand
honestly. So, yeah, I think we're gonna end up talking a lot more about like what you actually did to fix this issue then in later episodes. Other big thing that happened this episode, the soul cage bit, which wowzas. Yeah, so when I basically set up this idea, like I wanted it to be like the soul cage because like first of all, it's the voice, I want it to be like morally gray, but its goals are aligned with you. And I just wanted to play with the idea of like, what if someone else had the exact same goals as you guys did, but like was definitely an evil character and like did not give a shit about like what they had to do to get their way. And so like and clearly like they were somewhat reasonable in like the things they did, but like it was clearly always this air of like you're gonna do what I say because like I'm clearly an egotistical bastard here.
And Juliet being the stubborn piece of shit she is. No, fuck you.
Yeah, and I think the soul cage was that perfect culmination of that.
Oh yeah,
because it's such a, I think it's an existential nightmare, because effectively like you're trapped in this void with like you can't like eat, feel, think, or you can't like eat or feel. The only thing you're left with is just like your thoughts, and you're just like floating in this ethereal void. And it's one of those things where like so the person you're going to use it on is the person you guys absolutely hate the most, and so like you guys are kind of be like, I mean, she deserves it, and just kind of write that one off and not really be too affected by it. But I just wanted the idea to be implanted in your mind of like, this isn't ideal. Like, this is clearly like we're doing a bad thing to a bad person, but it's still very much a bad thing. And I wanted to really accentuate with that point with like how helpless the enemy you had just fought looked, as that like weird tattered soul now just looks helpless and lost like a wounded animal. And it was just this really good moment of like Izzy just saying, no, I'm not gonna do the soul cage and I want to find a different way. And Hops' player was like, can I try to bless it, I guess? Like, I don't know if it'll do much, but I'll at least like try.
And then I was just like, wait, can we just fucking purify the soul with her blessing and my whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm like, fuck it, make an Arcana roll, and we'll actually see if this, like, works or not.
Didn't I roll, like, a natty 20 or something like that? I don't remember what. I rolled something high.
Yeah, no, you have some rogue-ass bullshit that allowed you to roll, like, a 27 or some shit.
Some shit.
Yeah, no, it was something crazy high, and so I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you guys do manage to do it without any consequences with that, like, 27 roll. Yeah, no, and it's one of those things where, like, I did not see the eventuality or the option of, like, you guys having a second way to help this soul. And so, like, yeah, if you guys want to do the proper purification, you guys could do it in that way. And now you have this, like, interesting method, and instead of just having to trap the soul and just leave it to suffer until, like, you destroyed it or something dark like that, then you now have, like, helped this thing in a major way, and you now have, like, this cute little firefly helping you guys out.
Yeah. So, okay, while we're on this topic, I want to bring up alignment charts. So, Juliet is chaotic neutral. Absolutely chaotic neutral. Like, she's killed people before, but she's also saved people before. So, when this was brought up to me, like, I knew that it was gonna be my job to stop Legion when this was brought up. I'm like, oh, no. And then when the purification process worked, I'm like, oh, no, I have a choice to make. Because, generally, I like to make Juliet very neutral as possible, but when it comes to, like, her friends or, like, people that, like, she cares about, it's gonna be good. Enemies, absolutely not, fuck them, you know? But everything changed when she found out who Legion was to people. So, it's now a conflicting, like, do I make Legion suffer like how they have made a lot of people I've cared about suffer? Or do I be merciful and try to save them?
Yeah, no. And mild spoilers for the next episode, we get into some big plot dumps. But yeah, no, that ended up being, like, the interesting moral choice for this episode of, like, yeah, no, like, do you do the thing or do you not? And, again, I really appreciate that you played in the space of, like, Juliet objects to actually using the spell, because, like, Soul Cage is literally just a 6th level spell in the D&D book, like, in one of my previous games, like, a warlock just took it as their, like, one of their spells, and they just kind of, you know, they just had it, and like, we had a little bit of roleplay of, like, some people objecting to it, but, like, realistically, it was just a 6th level spell that just, like, recharges. In this game, it's a spell that has, like, weight and stuff like that behind it. It's clearly, like, an objectionable act in order to actually perform this on another living creature. It really has, like, weight and meaning behind it to do this kind of thing, which I really enjoyed you guys actually playing in that space to facilitate that. Oh, man. And then last couple of points. Yeah, so with this, the last, like, reveal of, like, if you guys want to leave, you can, but you're not going to get to know anything more about Legion. If you guys do go ahead, then, like, you need to walk ahead by yourself into what is clearly either a dangerous situation or a trap.
Wow, it was both. Crazy.
Yep, and so, yeah, it was one of those things, like, I wanted to give you guys the agency to probably, like, do you want to deal with my shenanigans or not? Because it was definitely a thing of, like, yeah, it was technically, like, the rest of this dungeon was completely optional.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
No, it absolutely was, because I would have revealed everything you had learned in this dungeon, I would have just revealed at a later point. It was completely optional, I assure you. Yeah, no, you the only thing was that you just need to wait time.
No, the way that you said it, it was like, okay, I guess you're never gonna learn this cool stuff about Legion, and we're like, fuck, we need that now!
No, it wasn't never, I basically kind of said, like, yeah, no, I basically, I could have sworn I said I will reveal this at a much later date.
Yeah,
like,
but I think all of us were like, sense of urgency, we need to get this done now.
Yeah, sense of urgency and just like, like realistically, as long as there's an out to this horrible situation, we should be fine. Oh man.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Everything worked out.
Yeah, but yeah, even if I said like, yeah, you guys can just wait 5 sessions in order to do it, I feel like you guys would have still been like, nah, we need it now.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no way I would have waited for fucking 5 sessions. Juliet would have won it by herself.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, no. It was an interesting choice, though, I think, to give you guys of, like, if you guys do not want the danger here, we can do the easier route, but but you're not gonna get any stuff out of it. Oh, man. And the next bit, yeah, so creating the All-Mother scene, of course the Hops arc needed to include the All-Mother in some way, shape, or form, especially after, like, the blessing being a really big part of Hops' story, which you guys, again, created your own narrative with that, and so, like, I really need to expand on that narrative. That, and also just, like, I wanted to give Hops something that was, like, sweet and cute and like and fluffy, and so like the butterfly wings felt like the appropriate amount of like Hops gaining new power, but also it's just so like silly and goofy and cute, because I literally imagine them too like they're not like, like the when like little girls wear like the butterfly costume. It's literally like the size of like a normal butterfly wings. Yeah, so it looks like it's just picking her up by the scruff as she floats around. Yeah, and it was just such a tiny thing because it was all it gave her was just like the ability to like float off the ground, not even fly. But the player just loved it so much because it again, like, Hops is just like, it's a derpy cute character, and like it just adds so much to that derpy cute factor, while also being like a pretty good like upgrade. Oh man. I think that probably just ties into a bigger point though of like catering to the players and why I do like player specific arcs is because I want to like vary up like what I'm kind of offering to the players and stuff like that. And I think there's a good bit that like Matt Mercer has where like, yeah, go ahead and like ask your players like what they want, if they want like a mystery or something like that, or if they want like just a straight dungeon crawl, or if they want to be able to like talk to every NPC and have low combat. Oh, all my players want all 3 of those exact same things in the exact same game? Oh, okay. Fuck me, I guess. Yeah. It's a good way for me to cater to that player and like, for example, with Hops' player, give them those cute, sweet, fluffy moments, where I can also then turn around and be in another arc, like, give like a Boondock like the cool Western standoffs, or give Morgan those like the space to really just have those like dark horse moments. Yeah. Because this definitely happens a lot in this campaign. Because like, one of the players, for example, like they're a little bit uncomfortable with like the violence, for example. And so like you, for example, like you fucking love like the Thomas the Elegant scene where you just got to kick the fucking shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard finding that like good middle ground between like what all your players want. So having the arcs definitely helps cater to like what one player wants for like the game, and keeps it fair to everyone else.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. And my last, but one of my favorite reveals I've done in this campaign.
Bullshit.
Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Oh my god.
Okay, I want to tell the story of this.
Yeah, go ahead and explain.
Okay, so we did a Draw This in Your Style Juliet, right? You know, just to like get our name out there, you know, fun stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna fucking do it, for shits and giggles, and I'm gonna draw Juliet gender bent, and he's Romeo. Haha, it's funny. I did this like fucking, what was it, 4 months ago?
Yup.
4 months before this session happened, and I messaged you, I think during the break of during the session. I was like, hey, is there a reason why Juliet's the only one who's getting the voice in her head, or am I just tripping? And you're like, oh,
I think I just sent you back a smiley face on that one.
No. You said it was something you did a long time ago is why this happened.
Okay.
I'm like, oh shit, it's because I ate the lightning bug. Oh shit, it's because I didn't catch the bunny. What did I do? I had no idea it was from that fucking fan art that I did of bullshit. We have this in our fucking notes. Izzy screaming from the depths, all caps, underlined, italicized, highlighted, because I was screaming for 4 days about this. I was so pissed.
I'm so sad the audio broke at the last part of the episode because, I just remember the fucking joyous of, me saying Romeo and then you just shrieking into your mic.
I was so angry.
That is bliss as a DM.
Anger. Just pure, unadulterated anger came from me.
Oh my god. It was just an idea I had because I'm like, what was some weird, because I'm like, this is a weird, laboratory and stuff like that. What's some weird science shit he's doing in there? What could be a cool, horrifying thing that he's doing? And I'm like, and then I'm just like, I don't remember where I got the inspiration from, but it was probably some show or movie or something like that. And something just hit me oh shit, what if I make a clone of one person in the party? And then I'm kind of figuring out oh, who should it be and stuff like that. And then I was just scrolling through the art channel bored at work, and I suddenly see Romeo and all the pieces just click together, and I'm like, oh fuck, I know exactly what I'm doing.
That's so rude. I can't. I swore, I'm never making fucking fan art again. And if I do, I'm never showing Shivam. It's banned.
You can't make it with that exact perfect pun, because, Romeo is such a good name for gender-bent Juliet,
I thought it was hilarious!
It was hilarious! It was so hilarious, I decided to make it canon!
It's so rude.
Oh, Christ.
The rudest.
Oh, man.
I wish I could emphasize how fucking pissed I was here and now. Just remembering it, I'm still angry.
God.
You know what's funny? We still don't know where the fuck he is! I was so mad!
Oh my god. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was fun.
For you!
Oh my god, it was. Yes.
God damn it.
Oh man.
Alright, we are now crowdfunding Shivam's hospital bill. If you would like to pay it, you may, but...
Oh god. Yeah, so thank you all for listening to another episode of PhoenixChat, the show where I do horrible things as a DM and Izzy just starts shrieking.
And I beat the shit out of him. It's fine.
Yes. A special shout out to our patrons, the Modga, Spicy Turntable, and Nyquil Dreamer. You guys help us make more and better content for you guys.
And pay Shivam's hospital bill.
And pay my hospital bills from the daily beatings I get from Izzy. Oh man. Izzy, you want to tell them about Campus Florist?
Yeah, so Campus Florist is a one-shot set one generation after Phoenix Heart, if, everything's good and well, whatnot.
The AU.
Yeah, the AU. That's rude, but okay. Anyway, we're gonna be doing this the 25th of September on Twitch, Keeper of Kitsune. You can see it there. Did you decide on a time?
Yeah, so we'll be starting at 5:30 Central. But speaking of which, though, if you're listening to it on the Sunday that I post it, we'll have done it yesterday. So, yeah, the VOD is gonna be up on YouTube for you guys to watch.
Oh, also,
and hopefully it went well.
Hopefully. But I will say, starting Wednesday in October, the first Wednesday in October, we're going to start up campus, blah, 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 blah.
Nice.
God, Illuna Nights again. Now that we have all of our schedules and shit figured out finally.
Yeah. I think that's all. You got a fun fact to lead us out with?
Yeah, so I love this. Morgan is constantly eating little soaps that look like candy and never learns his lesson.
Don't we all? PhoenixChat, yeah!